Hi everyone, I'm Cal Spriggs. Today I'm going to show you how I got my Necromunda Hive Tiles painted and tabletop ready for use in Necromunda, Warhammer 40k, and other tabletop games. As you might imagine, I was really excited to get my hands on some of these Necromunda Hive Tiles. They've been out of stock on the Games Workshop store for years. They sold out really quick. But I was able to get 2 sets of 4, which is more than enough for a Necromunda battle, but not quite enough for any kind of good size Warhammer 40k battle. But the very first thing I did, because I wanted to actually play games with them, was go ahead and prime them. I primed one set that kind of rusty brown color, and then the other set black. And as you can see, I've got some of the hive walls also primed. I love how these things lock in. Gives me a lot of playability. But that wasn't enough for me. I wanted them to kind of look like, the playmat that they came out with Necromunda. I wanted a bit more detail. So first thing I did was I started freehanding some hazard stripes, because everything in the 40k universe has hazard stripes. There's not really any actual safety features in the 40k universe, but they warn you that things are dangerous, and then you go ahead and get eaten. So I probably could have go ahead and stenciled this, but instead I chose to freehand it, because big surfaces. It's also kind of awkward. There's a lot of raised surfaces and stuff. So I just figured I'd freehand it and see how it went, and it went pretty well. You'll see. And then each tile, I just kind of picked spots where I thought, with how the hive walls interacted and connected in, that I thought I would get the most use out of it. And then I tried different things. This was my test tile, my first tile. So you can see I lettered in some numbers and letters, and tried painting different areas with access panels, and trying a few different colors. And then once I had that done, I hit it with a brown wash, and I generously used this brown wash across it. I wanted to give it a grungy, dirty look, a little bit rusty, a little bit just kind of nasty and dirty. And so I hit it up with this brown wash and got it all done. Then I came back in, and what's a Necromunda Hive City without blood? So I used some blood for the blood god to give some spills, and then I used some typhus corrosion to further make it dirty and grungy and look properly nasty. And then I had some Nurgle rot, so I figured a little bit of toxic waste would help out too. I was happy with how that looked, so I went ahead and started on the other tiles. Now, these 4 I had primed black, and then hit them with some gunmetal gray, or silver rather, and they looked more clean and sharp. So I tried freehanding in some more hazard stripes, and again I was going for kind of a more crisper, more well taken care of area for a hive city. And again, I went through, I hit it up with patches of blood, hit it up with some of the Nurgle rot and typhus corrosion, and dirtied it up, made it look used and fought over, because it's Necromunda, right, and it's the 41st millennium. And then I moved on to the next tile. You can see I did different sets of hazard stripes, mapped off to different areas. My goal here was to make them all kind of a little bit different, a little bit unique, so that they're not all identical. With this one, you can see I used a little bit of orange paint with a piece of sponge to give it a bit more rust patches, and I also went a little bit haywire on the blood for the blood god, gave it some really big blood smears. This other one, I wanted a set of hazard stripes that kind of came all the way in, and you'll see I went for sort of a big L shape, marking out each tile. Again, freehanding this, because at the scale of these things, there's not really little tiny errors in the size of the lines. I didn't figure they were that big of a thing, especially because the hive walls are going to go over this. And honestly, I found it kind of relaxing to go ahead and paint in these hazard stripes by hand. It was It took me a while, but yeah, it was kind of neat to try and draw straight lines across surfaces this big. And you can see I made a couple little errors there, but coming back in with the black over the Uriel yellow that I used allowed me to clean them up. Yeah, so it worked well, and it was neat to kind of pick out some of the details and see how, it kind of would have worked as I was doing this. Yeah, so I think it took me for like this one set of hazard stripes on this one tile took me probably close to 30 minutes. So it wasn't a fast process, but it wasn't that bad. One thing I do as I'm working on this, it does give me some quiet time, some downtime to think about various things. I actually used a lot of my time while I was working on this to kind of plot out my next novel, thinking about plot points and stuff while I kind of just went on automatic mode as far as painting. And it was really neat to see this at the end of it, because this was all freehanded. It's nothing special. It's nothing really artistic about it, but it's neat to look at it and go and know that I painted that without any special tools, without stenciling, that I painted it freehand. So, and then I get to go ahead and clean up any mistakes I made with throwing a whole lot of brown wash and stuff all over it as well. But I like the hazard stripes. It offers that nice contrast on the surface so that it doesn't look too boring. And then I went through, took the Blood for the Blood God, some of those Games Workshop technicals, and spattered it up, threw in that Nurgle Rot again, got it over the letters and stuff for the sector, so it looks like people have spilled some stuff they shouldn't have spilled. And now with the tiles I'd hit with that rusty brown, I went a different route. I sort of dry brushed in these yellow stripes and then came back in with some black, and it gives that nice faded, battered look. And for all four of these tiles, I went for a much more damaged, much more used and battered look. Painting it went so much faster. I wasn't caring too much if I slopped a little here or there. I was very much kind of dry brushing and over brushing the colors on, and that gave me a lot more freedom to not care too much if I had some mistakes. And initially, like this, it looks really rough, but then I came back and I hit it with a black wash, and it really settled it in very well. And then using the technicals pretty heavy on this. This was typhus corrosion I was using, helped a lot as well. And then I used this orange paint with a little bit of sponge and really rusted it up, dabbing here and there. You can see me here using the brown wash on those other three tiles besides the test tile. And this, I laid it on pretty heavy on all three of these tiles. It really kind of locked it all in, made everything fit together, softened out some of the edges, and in general, it just made the tiles look, dirty and grungy. On the brown tiles, I used the black wash because I wanted them to kind of look similar. And using the black wash, I got a more muted color, so it looked more just rusty and dirty rather than the very kind of brownish red that I had before. And the black wash did a fantastic job as far as bringing everything together. You can see I used some red and yellow for this tile instead of the black and yellow, just to make it look a little more extra hazardous. I used black and red there for hazard stripes. Just little variations to give the different tiles a little bit of a different feel. And here's the final product. So as you can see, the four tiles, they look crisper and cleaner, albeit a little battered. And then the other four, the browner ones, I really like how they came out. They look very industrial, very used, just rougher. So those 8 tiles gave me a full play set. With 8 tiles, I have enough to do games of Necromunda or skirmish-sized games of Warhammer 40k, which is nice. They're also good for me playing out some scenarios as far as figuring out what's going on in some of my combat scenes in my books, which is great. I do want to get a full table's worth, probably another 8 to 12 tiles. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments on tiles, on the paint job I did. Any ideas you have for making them look a little more unique. I've seen a lot of cool sculpting stuff that people have done as well. I'd love to hear your opinions, and please give me a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.